down on their knees, Spike Lee and Stephen A, praying at the draft. Help us, please, Knicks gods. And now here they are, facing off against Donovan Mitchell and the Cavaliers. How are we feeling about them today, Stephen A?
Let me say this to y'all right now, okay? Let me be very, very clear. I'm very proud of the New York Knicks in the season that they've had. Tom Thibodeau is a Coach of the Year candidate, even though I knew it was going to go to Mike Brown, and deservedly so. Okay? Julius Randle came to work every day until he got injured and missed the last 5 games of the year. Jalen Brunson, one of the biggest steals in the history of free agency. Look at what the man has done. Okay? I'm seeing Quickly and Grimes and Toppin. Oh, my God. Orange and blue skies, baby. Orange and blue skies. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something right now, all right? I will openly confess that I'm a little bit nervous because that dude, Donovan Mitchell, is that dude.
He's him.
Is that dude. But Kendrick Perkins has allowed me to fantasize. And because y'all have been so nice to me, because that's a fantasy become reality. I never saw it happening, but y'all have actually been very nice to me. I'm going to fantasize a little bit more. The New York Knicks beat Cleveland. What if the New York Knicks ended up beating Milwaukee too? What if the New York Knicks? What if we talking about the New York Knicks advancing? I'm just saying we can't just rule it out. They defend, they shoot the ball. They're gonna slow the ball game down. You ain't gonna be able to run away from them. They're rough and rugged and physical. Hey, there's hope. There is hope, and Jalen Brunson has brought that hope. I say we hold on to it, ladies and gentlemen. We hold on to it. This is what it's all about, baby. Orange and blue skies. Orange and blue skies. That's what I'm talking about right here today. That's what I'm talking about.
He's starting to switch.
Hey, guys,
We're not gonna talk about how this is when the superstars shine. We're not gonna talk about the Finals MVP. We're not.
Be nice, Malika.
Yeah, we gotta be nice.
How about this? There is an episode of Stephen A's World that is coming out this weekend as the playoffs kick off. The Nets, OKC versus Minnesota. Some news out of Minnesota, though. Both big men, Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, they are listed as questionable tonight. Cat has a calf strain, and then Gobert is dealing with back spasms. And yesterday, Gobert said that if he hadn't been suspended for that one game, his back was bad enough. He thinks it actually would have kept him out against the Los Angeles Lakers. So back here with Chanae and Perk. Perk, assuming that they do play tonight, who needs to step up for Minnesota?
It got to be Ant-Man. He went 3 for 17, 0 for 9 from 3. And even if they're banged up and playing, this is the time that superstars rise to the occasion, especially the young superstars. And he's going against another young superstar in SGA that he's going to have to protect his home court. So when I'm looking at this Minnesota team without McDaniels and what they're going through, both of his bigs, his other 2, quote-unquote, part of his big 3 not being healthy, I'm looking for Anthony Edwards to do what he do best, and that's bounce back with great confidence.
I agree. The beauty of the play-in is that in these situations where you want a little redemption, he has another opportunity tonight. And so, Ant, like you said, he was 0 for 9 from 3 in that matchup, and those 3-point shots really affect your confidence. If you see that he took them all over the perimeter and, he tried to attack at the basket, it just was not in rhythm for him to build the confidence against the Lakers squad that honestly, that was a grinded out type of win. And if he were his normal, usual form that averages 25 points per game, you feel like the T-Wolves could have won that game, right? Yeah. But it was just so hard for him. So him having another chance in this play-in position, I think we'll see a different version of himself.
I'm curious how serious this calf is for Cat, because it feels like he still sets the tone for this team, even with how talented Anthony Edwards is. He was perfect in the first half, and the Timberwolves are cruising. Then when he picked up that 5th foul, that's when things came to a screeching halt. So if Rudy Gobert is able to play, if they're able to minimize the fouls he picks up, how is that going to set the tone? That's kind of what I'm going to be keeping my eye on tonight on ESPN. Thunder Timberwolves, they play for the 8th and final spot in the West. Coverage starts at 9:30 Eastern. Remember, the winner, they go on to play the Nuggets in the first round. But a team that essentially opted out of the play-in tournament is the Dallas Mavericks, and they have been fined $750,000 by the NBA for conduct that is detrimental to the league. And this comes after an investigation into the franchise's decision to sit out several key players for the April 7th loss that eliminated the team from play-in contention. So in a news release, the league said that the Mavericks, quote, violated the NBA's resting policy and demonstrated through actions and public statements the organization's desire to lose the game in order to improve their chances of its first-round pick in the NBA draft. Still to come on our show, my friends, we head to Lakers shoot-around ahead of their matchup against Ja and the Grizzlies. Does Perk still 10 toes down have LeBron coming out of the West? We discussed. I think so, too. Plus, speaking of the Western Conference, we're going to go to the Bay Area. Can the Warriors win on the road? It's the question that we've been asking all season long. Or will Sacramento be lighting the beam? I can't wait for this matchup. We're going to dive into the origin of the 3 NBA playoffs, and you guys just saw this. This is where amazing happens, and we're here to get you set on NBA Today, presented by American Express. You know it's a big show.
Yes, sir.
When the man, the myth, the legend is in the building. Stephen A. Smith, Chiney Ogwumike, Kendrick Perkins is going to be joining us in just a little bit. And there are so many questions heading into these playoffs that I think we need to look at, we need to address, we need to answer before the clock that's behind me hits zero. So let's start in the West here, guys, because it feels, at least to me, like this is as wide open as the West has been in years. For you, though, Stephen A., what is the number one question in the West?
Well, actually, I have two. Our first question is, why isn't Kendrick Perkins out West? That's the first question. I mean, he should have been here. Why am I here? He's not here. But we'll discuss that another day. The other question would be this. Is this the end for the Golden State Warriors? I think it's a legitimate question. I refute it. It is not the end. The Warriors are still a team to be reckoned with. They will be a team to be reckoned with for the future. But a lot of people out there got a lot of questions about them. They haven't been able to win on the road this year. Had just about 11 road victories. We know how awful they were away from San Francisco. And obviously, they're not going to have home court advantage in any of these series. What are they going to do? That's the question. I believe I know the answer because I believe in these boys. But that is a question.
Stephen A., you know you always pick the Warriors. You did it last year, and you looked like a savant, a genius, a basketball aficionado, which you are. But now you have a question for them, even though you probably are still picking them. Let me just say, I want to start things very nicely, because I know you always say that we treat...
I'm in the middle. Well, I got to be in the middle between y'all. Y'all sandwiching me. You're plotting against me.
No, we're not. We're friends here. And your feelings are fluid. So I'll get to my answer. In the West, the big question, as it's very fluid in the West, is really the Phoenix Suns. Can they get it done? When you acquire someone to the talents of Kevin Durant, who did not just have a 50, 40, 90 season, he had a, 55, 40, 90 season, made history in 47 or so games, the expectation is automatically championship no matter where you go. So my question is, can these guys, after acquiring Kevin Durant, which we love Devin Booker, Chris Paul had some better games as the season sort of winded down. DeAndre Ayton is another question within the question. Can he show up and hold things down with that youthful exuberance and spirit in the post? Can this iteration of the Phoenix Suns that really gambled and put all of their chips in the middle of the table to get Kevin Durant really make this a championship year? I know the pressure feels like it should be this year. It could be later, but I think all eyes are going to be on them because they know the implications of such a decision.
Well, particularly this first-round series against the Clippers. When the Clippers are shorthanded here, it feels like, okay, maybe we want to see this. This could be something you'd ever want to bet against Kawhi Leonard. But then when you look at the firepower on the other team, it feels like that's a foregone conclusion. For you, Perk, what's the biggest question out West?
Well, first of all, Stephen A., my brother, I love you to death, but don't you get too comfortable in my damn seat, okay? Don't get too comfortable in my damn seat. I love you. I know you love L.A. Don't get too cozy in there, all right? That's the first thing. Okay. But I hear us talking about, I hear the world talking about, hey, is this the end of the last run for the Golden State Warriors? Shanae just talked about, when it comes down to the Phoenix Suns and Kevin Durant, him and Devin Booker and CP3, can they get it done? And we talk about, does LeBron have enough left in the tank to overcome this young Memphis team? And can Sacramento beat the Warriors and knowing that they're young but have home court advantage? Well, the team that has the best record in the Western Conference is the Denver Nuggets.
Yes, it is.
And why the Denver Nuggets don't have us talking about them and they're the number one seed? Is it because their coach has called them out plenty of times on being soft? Because they have all the pieces. They have a two-time MVP in Jokic. They have Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr.,